can you go talk to those guys and have them put more people on my projects so that I can get my work done each week? That was more or less the request I got recently from an administrator that I work with. She was very frustrated that another internal department wasn't providing her with the things she needed to get her work done. And week after week, she got more and more frustrated. So I said, well, of course I can do that. The question is that what we should do? And she said, well, why wouldn't we do that? I said, well, it's kind of heavy-handed to just go in there and disrupt things and say, I demand that we put these things first. I said, and I don't, frankly, know what else they're working on or if that is truly the best use of their time. I don't know that we should be prioritizing all your stuff first. So let's step back for a second, though, and tell me how this works. I said, so you ask them for more things, and what do they say? And she said, well, they typically say, we'll put it on our list. We're doing the best we can. We'll get to it when we get to it. I said, okay, and is that acceptable? She said, no. So I asked, isn't there a meeting each week where you're in there with them to prioritize your things so that you make sure that they're working on your things in the most important order? And she said, well, I do. I have that meeting. The problem is there's 2 other internal customers also in that meeting. So there's 3 of us in there, each with our own list, saying, here's all the things we need. And they can only tackle, say, 10 things a week. And so I get maybe 3 or 4. Sometimes I get 5 or 6, but I never get all 10. And so some of the things I really need fall to the bottom. They fall off the list and they don't get done that week. So that's why I need you to go in there and get those things done. I said, okay, well, you see the problem now is that by doing that, I'd be bumping other things that might be equally important or even more important. She said, well, I do understand that, but I don't know what else to do. And I said, well, as we talk through it, what we need to do is go in there and negotiate. I said, you're a customer and you need to get the things you need, and it's up to them to deliver. And if they can't deliver, it's up to them to figure out ways to deliver. It's not up to you to solve their problem. She has outside customers of her own. So I asked, when your customers call you, do they just say, do they start with, hey, I know you're busy and you probably can't get to it, and that's okay, but here's some things I need when you get to it? And she says, no one ever says that. I said, okay, do they ever call up and say, hey, here's the thing I need, and I need it by Friday, and you say, I can't have it for 2 weeks, and they say, oh, okay. She says, no. They say, no, I need it by Friday, seriously. And then what do? I asked. And she said, well, I have to figure it out. I said, okay, that's where we are. You are that customer internally. You need to have that same mindset of, I need what I need, and it's up to you to figure out how to get me what I need. Now, she said, well, I don't want to come across as a jerk. I said, okay, well, now we're confusing assertiveness with jerkiness. I said, being a jerk is what makes you jerky, not being assertive. Being assertive is asking for what you need. And you have a responsibility to this organization to get done what you're supposed to get done each week. And if that requires somebody else to deliver something to you, well, then you need that from them. She said, I just don't want to be perceived as a jerk, and I don't want to be bossy, and I don't want to be that person. I said, okay, fair enough. Now, interestingly, though, you're sending me in to do that. She said, well, yeah, I don't care if they think you're a jerk. So that was just kind of funny. But we agreed that the reason she really wanted me in there was because I had more authority. And so presumably I could make things happen. And I said, well, yeah, I can make things happen. But is that really a sustainable system? And is that the system that we want? Or do we want something that's more functional? And frankly, I want to see you grow in your ability to be assertive. So let's walk through some scenarios. So what we focused on was the mindset of, I'm a customer and I have things I need on a timeline that I need it. And it's up to you, my provider, even if it's an internal provider, to deliver that for me. It's not up to me to solve your problem. It's up to you to solve my problem and get me what I need. So you've got to have that in your head. Now, to avoid being jerky while you're being assertive about what you need, you also have to have it in your head that they are doing the best they can and that it is tricky and difficult and their plate is very full. But that doesn't relieve you of the obligation to be persistent. So what if you started out the conversation with acknowledging that they are, in fact, doing the best they can and they're very busy? I said, literally just say, hey, listen, I know you guys are really busy and you're doing the best you can. I said, think how that's going to lower the tension. But then don't leave it there. Follow up with your assertive statement. But I really need these things. I said, now make sure you really need them. And you can't really need everything. So figure out what you need more than others and be prepared to negotiate. Say, listen, if you guys could get me this by Tuesday, I could wait till Friday for the other thing. But I really do need all three by the end of the week. Like, they got to happen next week. Get me some by Tuesday, some by Thursday or Friday. That works. I don't need them all Monday. But I also can't wait till Friday for them all, and they sure can't wait till next week. I said, just make as clear as you can what you really need when you really need it. And in the end, if they come back and say, hey, listen, it's just going to be 2 weeks. That's just how it is. Say, that's not acceptable, guys. You've got to come up with something different and push back, but do it in a nice way. You can just gently, in a slow and quiet manner, say, guys, that's just not acceptable. I really need it next week. What else can you come up with? See, it's on them. It's not necessarily what else can we come up with, because you don't need to be part of this solution. You just need them to. Like, what you're telling me doesn't work, so what else can you guys do? What else can you do? But say it in that slow, calm, hey, I'm sorry, that just doesn't work for me. What else can you guys do? That's fine. You can say we, you can say you. It kind of doesn't matter. I'm just hesitant to have you accept, as an internal customer, too much responsibility for solving this other internal department's problems of delivering what you need. So at the end of the day, what we came up with was assertive does not equal jerky. She can be assertive without being jerky. It's got to be in her head that I'm asking for what I need, and that doesn't make me a jerk. And then the specific, actual practical steps of slowing down, lowering her voice, being deferential. Listen, I know you guys are doing the best you can, but I really need this. What can we do? What can you do? How can you help me? Phrases like that will go a long way if you've got that right tone and that right pacing. And the only way you're going to have that is if it's in your head right. So we really spent time on mindset of the customer and how to approach people to get things that you need and being persistent, but without being jerky. So in the end, she is working on going to that meeting each week and being gently and kindly persistent and assertive and not being jerky, but not needing to pull me in or anyone else in. And she has leveled up her ability to be assertive. And if you get it in your head when you're the internal customer, think about how your customers talk to you and what they expect from you and how you respond to them. Like, I'll do anything. I'll try to figure it out. I'll make it happen. Well, that's what your customers want to do. I'm sorry, your internal providers want to do for you. You just got to have that mindset that you're the customer. So if you can get in your head, you're the customer, step back and slow down, be deferential and gentle and kind, not jerky, you can get more of what you need without bringing in the hammer.